Hi everyone, this is Emma from Oak Bay High School. It is a pleasant affair to show all my works about Romeo and Juliet using what I've learned in my English class. I've been reading this world-famous playbook for weeks, and by this I will show you how Shakespeare gives beauty even to the tragedies. At first, we can talk about the author for a little bit. Shakespeare lives in the early modern age and began his career during the reign of Elizabeth I and married to Anne Hathaway in 1852 and had 3 children. It's a life anyone could live like that, so what's so important about Shakespeare and why his work gets lasts for centuries and never been forgotten? I think there's few reasons. The first is that the combination of the communicative power of his language and emotions. We have a lot of characters to perform in one play, but every one of them had their own personality. Even if you are reading their dialogue in the book, you would fall for them and it made you feel real. That's why we use the names Romeo and Juliet to symbolize the young tragedy love and why people were touched by that. He's also talented. Don't say his massive vocabulary of 29,000 words, which is twice times more than university students. There's an interesting fact that he rarely made up his own plots for stories, but instead adapted them from fictions, dramas, and current events. By the time our teacher told us that, he left the question fraud or genius. I have to say, before I read his plays, I think he's a fraud because with all the passages that already exist, anyone could make stories. But after I read it, I was shocked by his synthesis abilities. All those events, they could be forgot easily, but linked by Shakespeare's mastery, they live on. Now, even you have never read Romeo and Juliet, you must have heard it before. The story tells us about two young people's tragedy and forbidden love. Romeo and Juliet was the child from two families which had hated each other for centuries, but they miraculously and unexpected met each other at a ball and fell in love, and even secretly married. They tried to fight for their love, but there was always something trapping them. They finally chose to die for each other. Romeo and Juliet is such a masterpiece of Shakespeare. The love he's described between this couple is so sweet, but as beautiful as they are, they're sad when they're gone. In the word of Romeo and Juliet, the only thing could surpass the death is love. I chose one passage to show my best understanding of this book, which is where Friar told Romeo what's Prince's judgment for him after he killed Tybalt. Friar is one interesting and important character who has been connecting this whole play all the time and also progressing the story further away. For example, he knew about Romeo is in love with Juliet. He held the wedding, and now he told Romeo he was banished from Verona, which is a huge transformation for Romeo because he would rather die than live without Juliet. Then the scene made a good connection to the following tragedies. I was really touched by the dialogue in the scene. Even some people would say that this is tedious. But I like to read this because I found emotions naturally showing throughout the tirade of Romeo. All the harsh, desperately words Shakespeare's using made Romeo a more real and heartbroken person. When he's almost a dead man, the only thing he cares about is that Juliet will be angry with him. He fears even more he will not see her again compared to death. That's how moving love can be. Even if Romeo and Juliet don't have a happy ending, their story lasts forever. I admired how Shakespeare left their story as a tragedy, for that's the best way to create a classic which would never be forgotten. Thank you for watching and listening. This is Emma Ho on April 20, 2016.